Hello everyone, Jay Whitner here. You may know me from the crowdfunding discussion groups or perhaps from my website, Kickstarter coaching. I thought we'd try something new, and I'm launching a video recap of what's going on in the crowdfunding space, and I'm calling it crowdfunding coverage. Hope that you enjoy it. In October of 2013, there was a lot of exciting news that happened in the crowdfunding space. There was big news about equity crowdfunding announcement by the FCC. There was also other news from Indiegogo and Kickstarter. We had 20 what I would consider major crowdfunding campaigns in October that were $250,000 and up. Those larger campaigns totaled about $16 million. The largest one was Mighty Number 9, which brought in almost $4 million. And we'll talk about 8 of those campaigns briefly in today's show. But first, we got some news. Kickstarter, as you may have heard, is on its way to Australia and New Zealand. So right now, people in Australia and New Zealand have been working on their campaigns since late October, with the big launch to occur tomorrow, November 13th in Australia. So congratulations to Kickstarter on adding 2 new countries to the fold tomorrow. Indiegogo had some announcements as well. They rolled out some new stuff on their website, new tools to help people with their crowdfunding task, and also some tips about how people can do a better job with crowdfunding. The SEC had a big announcement in October, and you might want to write down the URL at the top of this slide while it's available. The SEC has been working for a long time on how they're going to regulate the laws for equity crowdfunding. So they released in late October a 600-page manifesto about how they're going to do crowdfunding, what the rules are going to be, and so forth. So the bottom line is pretty much anybody who's an adult can contribute to a crowdfunding campaign regardless of income up to a certain threshold. So anybody can put $1,000 into an equity crowdfunding campaign. So these rules have been put out there for public comment and review. That's a 90-day process. It came out in late October. So come February, March, we may see widespread equity crowdfunding for the masses here in the United States. The link at the top of this slide is to 2 separate summaries of the SEC proposal. So instead of 600 pages of legalese, if you'd rather read 20 or 25 pages of English, feel free to follow that link and learn more about that. So, on with our show. Kickstarter had some changes that were announced in late October, that they had changes at the top. Yancey Strickler, one of the founders of Kickstarter, is going to be taking over as the CEO of Kickstarter, and Perry Chin is going to become the chairman. So time will tell what changes come from that, but definitely some interesting stuff going on at the upper reaches of Kickstarter. And congratulations to Kickstarter. In October, it was announced they had done 50,000 successfully funded projects, which is awesome, and that the total pool of backers has reached 5 million now. So more and more signs of Kickstarter maturing and continuing to deliver fantastic creative projects every day. So we're going to take a quick look at 8 interesting campaigns that concluded in October. First, some stats. The 8 campaigns we're going to look at, they range from $250,000 to $3 million, with goals as low as $14,000 up to $250,000. The videos incorporated into these campaigns run basically from 2 to 4 minutes. One thing I found interesting in this group was that all were very solid on their updates. The lowest one did 10 updates during their campaign, and up to 75 updates, which seems a bit over the top. The length of the campaigns was 25, 47 days in the Kickstarter realm, with one on Indiegogo that was 75 days. Apparently, there was a process that Indiegogo can allow you to lengthen your campaign if they so decide. On the reward levels, they range from 7 to 19 reward level choices in the campaigns. And as a word to folks that are new, be careful about too many reward levels. It makes everything more complex. So let's talk about some of the campaigns. First, we have M2057, which was a fashion campaign, a ladies' clothing designer, and she brought in a little bit over $250,000. And one of the interesting things about her campaign was she was very specific in the campaign that if you want more than one reward level, just add the dollars in, we'll figure it out and get you your additional rewards. Next, we had iSketchnote, which is a tech-oriented thing. This is a pressure-sensitive device that you can draw and write on like a piece of paper, and all that data goes into your iPad. They raised $350,000 on a nice Kickstarter campaign. They had some nice aspects to their campaign. They did some early bird rewards to get people in fast in their campaign. They did some cross-promotional activities, which is basically if you talk about somebody else's Kickstarter campaign and yours and vice versa, an exchange, which assists both campaigns in doing better. They also had a nice area where they sort of mirrored the rewards in the rewards section in the main body of their Kickstarter campaign. Next, we have a Kickstarter about Atlas Shrugged. So this is, of course, a famous book from many years ago, and some other films had already been made. This is, I think, the third film about Atlas Shrugged. They raised almost $500,000 in the film category. One interesting aspect of their campaign was they sold 10 $10,000 rewards, which is somewhat unusual. I don't really recall that many campaigns that have done large amounts of the $10,000 level. It does happen sometimes, but it's not too often. Next, we have the Indiegogo campaign that we're talking about this month. It was for a device that monitors your sleep. You like put a sensor on your bed, and it figures out, if you're sleeping soundly or waking up and snoring, all that kind of thing. And it derives health benefits for you in terms of what you do with that information and learning how to sleep better. They raised $500,000. It's the longest campaign in our group of 8 this month, lasted 75 days. Indiegogo allowed them to extend for 14 days, so I guess it had been originally a 60-day campaign, and quite solid, $500,000 out of Indiegogo. Next, we have in the food category a beer brewing device. The choices in beer have typically been you go purchase your beer, or you can make your beer. It's a very complex, long project that it's hard to have any quality control. This automates everything and makes everything very monitorable and repeatable. They raised almost $700,000, and they had a very nice presentation of their stretch goals for their campaign. It was image-centric, their presentation of the stretch goals. It looked nice if you want to go and take a look at it. Next, we have the Pressy. This is a device for users of Android phones that you stick that small device there into the headphone jack of your Android phone, and there's a little button on top that you can control your phone by pushing the button in different combinations. It's a little bit like Morse code, like 3 quick presses, take a picture, that kind of thing. So they raised $700,000 for the Pressy. Some interesting aspects of their campaign. The video was funny. It really made me laugh more than once during the video, which is cool. They have a link in their campaign for ordering post-campaign, which is a nice thing to do to keep the dollars rolling in post-campaign. And they actually posted on their campaign a blooper reel of the bloopers that occurred when they were making their campaign video. Anybody who's worked on a campaign video knows there's probably plenty of blooper coverage. For those of you who are courageous, that was a funny element to their campaign. Next, we had an interesting campaign that was about a pen, which are popular on Kickstarter. They raised $800,000 for a pen made out of magnets. It's difficult to describe. You can look at their video. A lot of cool things that this magnetic pen does. Great toy, really. So this did very well with $800,000, 14,000 backers. One of the unique aspects of this campaign is they say they're including worldwide shipping with every order. I urge anyone watching this video to be very cautious in the arena of shipping. It's tricky. It's more expensive than you think. It takes longer than you're going to expect. What a lot of people are doing, they're talking about this free worldwide shipping. I'm not sure if this is how they're handling it, but I've heard in other sources that people say they send a pallet of pens to Europe, and then the distribution within Europe is handled from Europe, and this really pulls down the overall cost of the shipping. I'm not sure if that's how these guys with the pen are doing it, but that's something that people are working on. So anyway, free shipping, very appealing when you're trying to attract an international audience. The last campaign is miniature bones. These people make miniatures for just playing with them, for games, for painting, and so forth. Miniatures in plastic. It was their second campaign that they've done. They brought in over $3 million, and some interesting aspects of their campaign were, as opposed to using the Kickstarter survey tool that's available to all the Kickstarter creators, they are using their own survey tool, and they also are utilizing their tool to get all the international customers to pay the actual shipping of their shipment. So as opposed to having a sort of fits-all addition to people for international shipping, you've seen that on Kickstarter. People add $15, $20 to each international item. In this case, they're actually figuring out that, oh, okay, you're in Australia, it's quite expensive, so they're just charging whatever the exact fee would be to accomplish the shipping for that. That's it for the very first edition of crowdfunding coverage. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you've got any suggestions or questions, send me an email, j@kickstartercoaching.com. I'd like to hear from you to see what we can do to make the show better. So have a great day, and I'll see you next time. Take care.